Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All Saints Cathedral, led by Reverend Sammy Wainaina, is coming out to drop a bombshell as they are coming out to castigate how William Ruto has just come out to capture the legislature. He has come out to capture the judiciary. And these two branch of the government, or rather arms of the government, William Ruto is one person controlling three arms of the government. Wainaina anakuja kusema kwamba that when William Ruto wanted to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, he got it through the name that together with his team, they always came out saying that hao ni watu wa Mungu. They went to several churches, walifanya michango na wakapatiana pesa nyingi sana. But when you look at the argument of Reverend Sammy Wainaina from All Saints Cathedral, Reverend Wainaina anakuja kusema kwamba hao watu wanadanganya Kenya. Na mahali tumefika ni kana kwamba hao wana benefit on their own, because the basis of their campaign is not coming as per whatever Reverend Sammy Wainaina is saying.
The context of Kenya, even while I am away, I engage with Kenyan situation because I am Kenyan. And you remember when I was the provost here, my considered conviction was you cannot look at life in a binary way. That there is holy and there is unholy. There is what is political and there is what is church. When politicians want to use the church to propagate their agenda, they say church and politics is one. When we become very tough on them, they say, no, you do the church things, leave politics to us. I am convinced, as a theologian, I am a politician as well. And politics is talking about the governance of a nation. And the church and church leaders must engage in such. So we hear the cry of our country. The cost of living, the depreciation of the Kenyan shilling against the dollar, which is affecting the prices of most of the commodities because we are net importers. When I hear of that cry, it is very sad. I hear of a ruling class that doesn't seem to care about the depressing situations of this country. We have a weak parliament that can be used by the executive to add taxes to Kenyans. When this government was campaigning, they said they are going to reduce taxes. In fact, they were criticizing the then government, which they were part of, because of the high taxation. But today, the load of taxation is becoming heavier and heavier. And this is happening at a time when we hear of cases of grand corruption. So on one hand, you tax people. On the other one, the same government gets into scandals of corruption. For example, the edible oil. What has the government to do with edible oil? Any government project is riddled in a lot of corruption, unfortunately. And then you are told it is not fit for human consumption. Fuel prices are not making sense in Kenya. If you compare with the world, the prices are going down. In Kenya, they are going higher, affecting the lives of the poor Kenyans. Most of the public resources are going into waste, unfortunately. And the controller of budget actually stated publicly, and this is information that you have, that 2.2 billion has been spent in the office of the president and State House between July and September. If you do that calculation, it means that we spend in that office 23 million per day and 1 million per hour. That cannot be sustainable. While I was away, I hear now you've moved from Kenya Power and Lightning to Kenya Power and Darkness. And I even hear now you want to spend billions of shillings to unbundle the power lines. This is corruption after corruption after corruption in a government that looked very Christian. And you remember I told them not to hide in Christianity. Christianity is being men and women of integrity. You cannot use Christ to come to power, and then when you get there, you become a corrupt leader. The context in Kenya is becoming even sadder with the weakening of the opposition. While we should be having a very strong opposition by this time to check on the government, it's becoming weaker and weaker, and we can't hear the voice of parliament, but also the schemes that you see to silence people. The other day I was reading of somebody threatening Kenyans not to go to court. Kenyans have the right to go to court. And leaders should, political leaders, I wish they were hearing me, should never threaten Kenyans. They are there because we voted. And they are there as servants, not as bosses. No threats. What even saddens me now is when I hear the voice of the church being silenced. Unfortunately, the church seems to be in bed with the government. They can't challenge the government. They have become recipients of government appointments and recognitions. And that is dangerous. So corruption, if you're not careful, will permeate every part of the church. This cathedral has been known as a place of agitation. This pulpit has been used by many people in the past, archbishops and provosts, as a place of calling on the government. And that is the role that the church must engage. And this church is very central to that. The people of Israel needed a redeemer. Kenya needs redemption as well. And this is so appropriate as we come to Christ.
I think William Ruto's part of his leadership alikuwa anaonekana kwamba ni mtu wa Mungu sana. Na hata kwa saa hii unapata kwamba every Sunday, Saturday wako kwa makanisa. Kama ni fundraising, wanaenda michango. Hao ndio wenye walisema kwamba wakiingia tu hivi, ushuru lazima itarudi chini. The same William Ruto. Tulimuona akikuja kusema kwamba yeye anajua vile uchumi atahakikisha iko stable. They came out castigating Uhuru Kenyatta's leadership government as those, or rather as a person mwenye alikuwa anaingiza Kenya kwa shimo. Lakini ukiangalia vile William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua na hao wengine watu yake wanaongoza Kenya, utagundua kwamba hao ni watu wako na ubinafsi wao wenyewe. And the freedom they came out declaring and announcing across the Republic of Kenya kwamba freedom ilikuwa inakuja. Freedom ulikuwa ya nini? William Ruto mwenyewe akakuja kusema kwamba anataka opposition yenye iko strong. The same William Ruto came out weakening the opposition. The first thing William Ruto did, alienda kanunua MPs huko, akasindilia kwake huko. As we speak, there's no strength of opposition in the National Assembly and also in the Senate Assembly. Why? William Ruto ashawapea pesa, na hata kama ni bill inapitishwa bila hata kudebate. And that is why yesterday Raila Odinga akakuja kusema kwamba the parliament that we are having is so funniest parliament that he has never had before. Ukipata kwamba hata kuna debate kwa National Assembly, utapata kwamba ni debate wanaleta hata bills 3 na wanataka wapitishe all of them in the afternoon na wamalize hiyo shughuli. Ina maana kwamba these people are not debating on these bills. Wanasema tu come out and give us question. They vote. But on the other side, that is why you saw even the Senator Edwin Sifuna coming out to say to the public that the in Azimio, they always argue and debate on certain issues in the assembly. But when look at Kenya Kwanza government members of parliament, they always don't debate. They always don't debate. What they usually do, wanangojanga tu swali na wanapiga kura. Na ndio maana ukiangalia hata ama MPs, they have already captured. Na ukiangalia pale judiciary, pia ni kama inakuwa captured. William Ruto is the executive, at the same time is the legislature, and he is the judiciary. Yesterday, William Ruto said that kuna watu wanaenda kwa makoti kumblock kwamba house levy isipite. At there are certain issues lazima itapita, mpende musipende. And this was the same man wakati he was being sworn in. Kitu ya kwanza alipewa na Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta ambaye alikuwa anatoka, alipewa constitution. Ukigundua kwamba hakuinua hiyo constitution juu sana because William Ruto ndio wale among those people who came out rejecting the constitution of 2010. Kenya alipewa na akainua juu kabisa ni ile kisu, you know. So William Ruto is misusing his office to manipulate some independent institutions that should come out and render their services independently. So All Saints Cathedral Reverend Wainaina has again come out to castigate and also remind Kenyans the kind of leadership we are having, because even if some people don't care, but truth must be said no matter what. The fear is gone and the clouds are gathering. And that is where we are. And in fact, when we look at even several churches, hawataki William Ruto aende huko because ina portray picha mbaya. Yale makanisa yote walikuwa wanaonyesha mpaka picha ya William Ruto kumkampenia hata kwa makanisa. Sasa hata wengine wanaogopa kwa sababu there's those waliacha kanisa kwa sababu ya siasa ndani ya kanisa. You know? But the reality to be told is that William Ruto has manipulated many independent institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think?